There's a saying that imitation is the best form of flattery. And to some degree, that might be true. But there are some instances where persons they copy so much that the only conclusion that we could come up with is that these guys are, how to say, bankrupt when it comes to coming up with their own ideas. And guess what? At some point, we have to say enough. Enough is enough. There's only so much you can copy.
If you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something. If you wanna be starting something, you got to be starting something.
Yes, someone have to tell Uncle enough. Unc, enough. You are not Michael Jackson. So let's examine the king of copying, the king of the copycat, and that is PlayStation. You see, don't get me wrong, all platforms, Xbox, Nintendo, they copy a bit, but none of them could compare to PlayStation. You see, PlayStation and their parent company Sony has copied so many times that, some persons believe that whatever they see PlayStation doing, they are the ones that came up with it. Crazy, crazy work. So sit back and relax and let's get it.
This is a sickness!
Let's get it. So before we continue the video, guys, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers and I believe that we can do it. Of course, this channel focuses on giving you the best Xbox content this side of the internet. Of course, we sprinkle in some Nintendo news here and there, but we specialize in disciplining the ponies. This is the cultist fans of the PlayStation community, and that is our specialty. So if this type of content interests you, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button today. Now let's get back to the video. Now, if you are to peruse Twitter, you would see the ponies or the PlayStation fans out there boasting that Sony just shipped over 80 million consoles. Yes, these guys are boasting that Sony is selling or rather shipping a lot of consoles. But it's very interesting because although shipping 80 million consoles, we are noticing that Sony is doing some very interesting business practices that resembles Xbox. Yes, they are copying Xbox. So we are seeing a very clear indication that number one is copying the third place platform. But the question is why? Why has Sony decided to copy Xbox? Is it because as a creative, Sony is bankrupt? Or is it because that we would have all seen that Sony themselves would have said that their pillars are dated and the competition is in front of them, or they are behind the competition? You see, it's very simple as to why Sony copies. It's part of their DNA. Yes, Sony was born out of copying their competition. Their hope is always to copy the competition, but do it better or try to do it better. But in many instances, they fail. Today we will examine how Sony would have copied not only Nintendo, but copied Xbox over the years. And we will see how they are continued doing it up to this day. There are enough records in history to show how Sony would have copied Nintendo. For example, let's look at hardware. We all know that one of Nintendo's most successful consoles is the Wii. With that new Wiimote or that new way of playing, which was the Wii controller, Nintendo did sell a lot of consoles because of that controller. Now, Sony seeing the success of the Wii Remote and seeing that a lot of casual gamers was coming into gaming, Sony decided to capitalize and copy Nintendo by coming up with their own Wii Remote-like controller. They called it the PlayStation Move. And this was a blatant copy of the Wii Remote. Look at this. Now, the PlayStation Move had, more advanced tech than the Wii. However, it did not sell as much as the Wii. And this was just one example of PlayStation copying Nintendo when it comes to hardware. And believe you me, Sony is not just going all out to take ideas from Nintendo when it comes to hardware. They are also dressing up, pretending to be a grandfather to copy software.
Hey, what you doing on PS3? Oh, turn them up, baby. Bow, bow. Oh, look at the move, baby. Look at the move, baby. Oh, crack that leg. Bow, bow, bow. Oh, look at the spin. Where you going, baby? Bow, bow, bow. Oh, ha ha. Look at that move, baby. Check out. Bow, 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 bow. Rodeo, rodeo, rodeo. Step on, Bill.
Yes, Sony will stop at nothing to copy software from Nintendo. And there are so many examples, but I'll give you one of the main ones that flopped. And that is the Super Smash Bros. Clone. Yes, we know that Super Smash Bros. Is a big hit on all Nintendo platforms. Super Smash Bros. Has gone on to sell, maybe coming number 1 or maybe in the top 3 when it comes to the best-selling fighting games ever. Now, Sony would have seen this again, and they decided that they wanted to do or copy a Super Smash Bros. Game. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at the blatant plagiarism here by Sony. Don't feel Sony survives only on, as the ponies say, their first party bangers. No, Sony has relied on copying the competition, stealing their homework, and then saying it's theirs. That is why I'm surprised to see Sony going down the route of suing Tencent. You see, Tencent is doing exactly what Sony would have done for years, which is copy from their competitors' homework. And now it's happening to them, and Sony is doing something that Nintendo didn't do, which was sue. I mean, Sony, you're some kind of work, man. But it's not only Nintendo that Sony copies, they also copy Xbox. I mean, who could remember when Microsoft would have revolutionized gaming by coming out with Xbox Live? With Xbox Live, you could have communicated with all your friends and play games with them. We are talking about playing games with your friends with voice chat. That was something unheard of before Microsoft would have brought it onto Xbox. And this is what Xbox would have pioneered. Well, Sony didn't have anything like that. And guess what? They copied it. Yes, Sony copied Xbox by bringing out their version of it, which is PlayStation Network. But commenters and video game analysts would have all agreed that PlayStation Network was nothing like Xbox Live. That said, Microsoft outdid themselves with the introduction of Xbox Live. Yes, the service was presented on their first console, but it hadn't really taken off until the release of the Xbox 360. Though it was a premium feature, it offered online connectivity that hadn't really been seen before. You can chat and play with your friends, share messages, and hang out online in a way that would have seemed downright Jetsonian to gamers 10 years prior. So yes, PlayStation copied, that from Xbox, copying their service. But it's not only that, guys. It's not only that. It seems everywhere you look, PlayStation is copying Xbox. 1 year ago, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt had a sit-down podcast interview really talking about their multi-platform approach with how many games are going over the platforms and how they were going to learn from those games to see if, those games, more games could come over to, other platforms. And guess what? A year after, Sony had a similar interview. What's strange is that Sony decided to do the same thing Xbox did. 2 men, 1 lady. Look at this.
I have a number of questions I'd like to get to today. I'm going to start with the platform business. As Sony Interactive Entertainment and the industry as a whole move towards multi-platform gaming, how will you protect the value of the PlayStation console?
The PlayStation experience is not just about the gaming console hardware.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected.
Nor it's not just about the content as well. It's an experience in a community that shares this excitement For over 30 years in the past, we've been committed to being the best place to play and publish. And has helped us establish a dedicated community of 124 million players and then invaluable network over the 4,000 creators. PlayStation console experience is designed to enable immediate gameplay in an immersive and accessible way. We're doing this in a completely integrated way, designing and manufacturing all aspects from the chips to the backend system. And we continue to look for new and innovative ways to broaden our reach and bring our content and a service to the players.
It's you are bringing the content to the players. You don't want the players to come to your console to get the content. That sounds very similar to meeting the gamers where they are at, that Phil Spencer said, sir.
The value of the PlayStation console is that still the best place to play, and it's growing as we reach an even broader audience.
And you're quite right that we're continuously exploring new ways for players to interact with their franchises. It's important to realize that we're really thoughtful about bringing our franchises off console to reach new audiences.
I mean, you are trying to reach new audiences, Pee Wee Herman. You sure about that? I mean, you already trying to reach the new users from PC. But what else users it has out there? Is it Xbox? Is it Nintendo? Who else? Where else could PlayStation get new gamers outside of PC?
And that we're taking a very measured, a very deliberate approach in doing that. Particularly on the single player side, our tentpole titles, they're such a differentiated, the point of differentiation, I should say, for the PlayStation console. They're real showcases of the performance, of the quality of the hardware. So we want to ensure that players get the best experience from these titles. And we're very thoughtful about how and how we bring these titles to other platforms.
Be careful how and if you bring these titles to other platforms. So yes, PlayStation has now copied Xbox when it comes to bringing their content to other platforms. And this is very shocking to the pony community. I mean, these guys don't want to even hear it. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to smell it.
I just can't believe personally that the whole plan is to copy the Xbox playbook and put every game everywhere day and date.
So PlayStation doesn't have as much to offer as PC, Xbox without exclusives. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think... Remember how specifically the Xbox CFO spoke? He said, like, we're going to change our strategy and start putting our first-party stuff on other places. And it was like, wow. He even said on platforms that were formerly considered competitors. Right?
So guys, you see how the PlayStation community is getting when even talking about this. But these guys are in denial. This is the end of the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.